I don't really care what anyone else thinks. As far as I'm concerned, the North London derby is the biggest derby in the Premier League. That's just my opinion. Both teams, both sets of supporters really dislike each other. There's a hatred going back many, many, many years, and it's not likely to go away. Merseyside derby, is that even a derby really? They're all cousins and brothers and aunts and uncles, they all sit together, so don't really count in my opinion. Manchester derby, not really a derby because Man United fans don't really care about Man City. I've only started worrying about them since they started winning stuff, so not really a derby. There's no real history there of there being any kind of real rivalry between the two. So for me, it's not a proper derby. There's no real kind of passion in there. Liverpool, Man United, yeah, a bit more of a derby, but ultimately the cities are not. They're two different cities, so not really a derby, not in the true sense of the word. So for me, North London derby is always the most passionate and the most eagerly awaited by not just Tottenham and Arsenal fans, but by fans of other clubs as well. Now, I'm not saying there aren't other really good derbies out there, because if you, like me, live on the south coast, you'll know that Southampton and Portsmouth really, really hate each other. And that's not just about football, that's about the cities actually hate each other. And there can be a lot of passion go over that. Aston Villa and Birmingham, another real hot spot where they really go for it. And probably, for me, in line with the North London derby, because they are in the same city, and there is a real passion against each other. And then you've got Swansea and Cardiff, which again I think is a real passionate derby, one that they really dislike themselves. But given all three of those, outside of those cities concerned, I don't think anybody really pays a lot of attention about it. Whereas the North London derby has been going on so long, and there's been such a long hatred of each other, that I think it sticks out massively. So today, the North London derby will be contested, and it's not come at a great time, not for Spurs anyway. Might be all right for Arsenal fans. I think they might be feeling a little bit optimistic about it. I think they might think that they're going to edge it. But this derby always throws up some differences, and it's not always the team that's on the top that actually gets the rub of the green, if you know what I mean. So I think it all just depends about who turns up on the day. The problem for Tottenham is that of late nobody's been turning up. That's how it feels. We've been having a really torrid time. The 0-0 at Bournemouth, really disappointing, really poor performance. 1-0 against Everton, which was fortunate because we got an own goal in that game. Really not a lot in that. The spanking we got off of Sheffield United, not really good, is it? In the other hand, Arsenal been kind of having it all their own way. A good win against Wolves, which I wasn't expecting. A draw against Leicester, which to be truthful was quite fortunate for Leicester. To be honest, that they grabbed that right at the end. So the fortunes of the two teams are slightly different since the restart. There is only 1 point in it, so it's still all to play for. But it's just about who turns up on the day and who really wants it. Now, you would hope as a Tottenham fan that our players are going to really want it. They're going to really turn it on. They're going to really step up and say, right, we've come in for some flack. We ain't been playing well. We know we ain't been playing well. We've let the manager down. We've let the fans down. Now's the time. If any game, this game is the most important, because this game gives us an element of bragging rights. Now, how sad is that at the end of a season to be saying that the only thing we've got left to get any kind of bragging rights over is a win against Arsenal, just to get us above them. just to stop the St Tottering's Day bullshit. How we've fallen that's all we're focusing on. You know, that's the sort of stuff that West Ham worry about. You know, that's the stuff they worry about. You know, getting bragging rights over Tottenham. Don't matter if they get relegated as long as they win against us. You know, so how sad is that we've kind of fallen to this level? Really, really disappointing. Really disappointing. But it is what it is, and we are where we are. So, you know, we've got no other choice but to knuckle down and see what happens. Personally, I'm going to watch it from home. I'm not going to a pub to watch it because I can't take the pressure. I find it a really difficult game. You know, I love it, but I hate it at the same time. So disappointing that it's not going to be. We're not going to be able to go to the ground to watch it. Especially being the first one at the stadium would have been fantastic. But as I keep saying, it is what it is. We've got no choice. But you know, we wait and see what team he puts out. I don't expect it to be massively different, if I'm being honest. I think Alderweireld and Vertonghen will be in the back four. I think they did okay against Bournemouth. Looked fairly solid. I think Winks and Sissoko keep their place in that centre, just kind of sitting and trying to shore up that defence. And then it's just about whether Lo Celso gets back fit or whether he has to stick with Ndombele. Clearly something going on there in terms of not really fancying him. Now, as I've said many times, I think he's a class act. I think he's got a lot to offer. So, you know, I personally would like to see him playing. I think maybe you could get him in if you played Lo Celso and then played him a little bit further forward, you know, at the expense of, say, Lucas or Bergwijn or someone like that. Even Sonny, who's really failed to hit the ground running at the moment. I think the team needs something. It needs a bit more creativity than just Lo Celso trying on his own. The constant, you know, pushing it out wide to whip balls in that never seem to come is not working. Aurier is not crossing well. Davis on the other side, for me, showing a little bit more, certainly in terms of passion and endeavour. Certainly in the last game, I felt he played a little bit better, kind of bombing on and trying to get it across. But his crossing has been woeful. You know, it's creating nothing. And Kane just stands there, you know. Expressions used to use the term the lamppost for, you know what I mean. But at the same time, you know, that's kind of where Kane's ended up. You know, he's pushing himself back and running back deep and all the rest of it, and ending up in our own box, you know, because he's desperate to get involved in the game. I do think he's looking sharper. I do think you know, certainly in midfield, his passing has been pretty good. You know, certainly as the season's gone on. But that's not where you want Harry Kane. You know, your prolific goal scorer who's one away from 200. You know, you really want him at the front there, you know, leading the line. He loves a goal against the scum as well. So, you know, you really think that, you know, he's got to be in there. So we are crying out for creativity. Mora just keeps running inside. You know, Lamela is not releasing the ball early enough. You know, Sonny's just not. It's not happening for him either. So it's all just static. It's all just static, and everyone's kind of getting in each other's way. So it needs that little bit of magic, something a little bit different. And I do think that Ndombele does bring that. He runs at people. He does those feints. I mean, he kind of runs away from the ball, you know, sending the player in the wrong direction. You know, he uses a little bit of that flair. Whether he can last the whole game or not, you know, that's another matter. But I certainly think we should start with him and give him a chance to really stamp his authority on the game. And then if we can get ourselves ahead, then you can maybe bring in Lamela for a bit of passion and a bit of, you know, shithousery, you know, that kind of thing at the end, just to kind of break it up and spoil the play and that kind of stuff. So I think there are options, and you know, on paper, you know, for me, I still think we've got a better team. But unfortunately, as they keep saying, we don't play on paper, we play on grass. And when you get out on grass, the players just ain't been doing the business. So a bit of a worry, but there you go. We keep the faith. We sit there in our front rooms watching and hope that it's all going to go our way. Up the Spurs.